What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bryan with Exact Cybersecurity and IT. In today's video, I'm going to update you on what is happening at the Crown Equipment several weeks after their initial ransomware attack that I covered on this channel. Before I get into it, remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when we put out content similar to this, so you get the latest in cybersecurity news as soon as it happens. We appreciate everyone's support on our way to 5,000 subscribers. The channel's taking off better than ever, so I thank everyone for their support. So let's talk about what's been going on over at Crown the last several weeks and how they're dealing with their cyber attack today. Crown Equipment, if you remember, they faced a serious cyber attack that disrupted their operations. Their employees ran to the internet to tell the world that they were displeased with the initial response from the company. A lot of them being told that they are not allowed to work, some of them being told that they had to go file for unemployment, or that was the initial recommendation by the company. Employees fled to the internet just to get answers on where things stood and when this company was going to be back up and running. After a 3-week shutdown, Crown Equipment has fully resumed operations across 24 of its global manufacturing plants. It took them a few weeks to get back up and running, but they did, and they're back and they're able to operate after a shutdown of 2 weeks of their business. What we know so far is that this attack, it's been reported, was caused by a social engineering tactic where an employee clicked on a phishing email allowing hackers to install remote access software. This is a very common attack or a common trend that we see on a lot of businesses out there, where somebody gets tricked or they get attacked through a phishing email or through some other social engineering mechanism like a phone call or a text message. People don't believe that it can happen to them until it actually happens to them. Social engineering tactic is one thing that you can teach your employees about how to defend against that. I'll talk to you a little bit about how we mitigate these types of attacks in the future, or how a company like Crown can prevent these types of attacks. But a lot of analysts are going right to that, oh look, it was a social engineering attack and we need to train our employees better. That's kind of like the lesson learned coming out of this. I'm going to highlight a few other lessons learned that I picked up on through this attack that you're going to want to pay attention to. But let's talk about where the incident or the investigation is right now. So Crown has not disclosed the type of data potentially compromised in this ransomware attack or how it's been used. Quite frankly, they've been very tight-lipped and they're holding things close to the vest about this situation. They're working closely with federal law enforcement, which could be part of the reason why they're being tight-lipped, because the investigation of law enforcement, maybe they're onto something and law enforcement doesn't want things to be disrupted. This is a very large company, a multi-billion-dollar company, so it has gotten the attention of the Fed, and they've been involved in this since early on. As I mentioned, this incident highlights the importance of cybersecurity awareness training for your employees. Social engineering tactics are a persistent threat that companies have to deal with, and having what we call a strong human firewall, right? The employees, they're your human firewall, is crucial to all businesses. However, this attack also required this company to take kind of everything down and to shut everything down. And that's something companies need to work towards not being what they have to do when dealing with a cyber attack. Maybe shutting down one office, one site, one facility is the goal that most businesses should be trying to reach. But when you don't pay attention to this stuff, when you put no effort into it or put very little or not enough, you end up in a situation like Crown where you have to shut everything down all at once to deal with the problem. The other thing I see as a cybersecurity expert as a problem around this is when I talk about multiple layers, or somebody in the comments, decided to be funny and say, well, I just call those multiple band-aids. I don't call them multiple band-aids, because these layers are what's been impenetrable at my company for many, many years now. The hackers can't seem to get around to hack the companies that we manage. So I would say that what we have out there is pretty effective, because we have a 20-year track record of not getting hacked. And well, people are like, oh, you don't want to go on YouTube telling people you don't get hacked. That's just putting a target on your back. I got a target on my back every single day. Me coming on this channel saying we've never been hacked in 20 years and being in business is not a big deal. Like, go ahead, try to hack us, because it's going to be really hard for you, and it's going to be a waste of your time, because you're going to have a lot of tripwires and a lot of things that you got to get through that are going to probably stop you along the way, because we're going to figure out that you're trying to break through it very quickly. And that's the name of the game, is having layers of defense defense in place. A human being, even if they get tricked, should not be able to install remote access software on a system unless they have the proper authority. And that proper authority should be somebody in IT that has the proper authority, that knows what they're doing, that knows who they're dealing with. And it shouldn't be just some random employee on the floor somewhere who has admin access to a system to install software. Employees shouldn't be allowed to install software in 2024. That's the name of the game, right? Being able to control things, being able to make sure that not everybody can do everything that you need to do. If we were to assume that that was the case and this was an IT person who actually got tricked, well, that's kind of crazy, and shame on Crown if that was the case, but I highly suspect that that wasn't the case. And number two, there should be other things in place besides what I'm talking about where a regular employee can't install stuff. It needs to kind of be approved by other people. But if this was a piece of software that was approved by the company, that's one thing. But I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet that this software wasn't even approved by the company. So the fact that you allow employees to install unapproved software that you haven't evaluated as a company, is another misstep by this company and is another piece of evidence that tells me as an investigator that they don't have proper cybersecurity in place. That's another sign, right? That somebody can come along and just install software that doesn't have the proper training, can't evaluate it properly. And then on top of it, even if it is just an IT person, you need to have things like multi-factor authentication in place, checks and balances around what's being installed, and maybe have another set of eyeballs take a look at that. So you have two people checking. That's one of the things that we recommend companies implement, is that when somebody tries to install it, have somebody else evaluate that from a business use standpoint. Do we actually need this software in our business? Does it introduce a security risk or introduce more risk to our business? They need to look at it from a risk standpoint. And also, does the system we're about to install this on, is it up to date? Is it supported? Does it have all the patches? Is there antivirus on the system? All these things can help when you install malicious software like this company did, right? Another layer could have stopped it even though this person allowed it to be installed. So that's what's going on at Crown. That's what we know so far. And these are ways that you can look at cyber attacks and learn from them, right? This is all public information, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of effort to figure out what's going on here. Now, maybe you need to have the experience like I have. That's why your company should hire our company for your threat intelligence. We can come to you and research situations and say, hey, you need to look out for this, you need to look out for this, or you need to implement this or put this in place in your business, because if somebody gets tricked by a cyber criminal and clicks on a phishing email, there's nothing after that point, once they click on that phishing email, stopping the cyber criminal from getting in. And we could probably put like 2, 3, 4 more blocks in front of that cyber criminal, even if that employee installs whatever it is they clicked on. So just some food for thought for you as you map out your cybersecurity strategy here. Some things you need to do to learn from this Crown Equipment ransomware attack, but company seems to be somewhat back on its feet. At least that's what they're reporting. I'm sure they're not fully back on their feet based on what I know about the situation. That's not public, but the company is working with federal law enforcement to hopefully maybe make some progress on these cyber criminals, who they are, maybe hurt them a little bit. Who knows? That's the hope. But at the end of the day, the company's back up and running, and now they're probably going to spend a lot more money on cybersecurity so this doesn't happen to them again. Links down below in the description. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.